Today's word is user. Now, I've spoken about users before. Everybody knows I use Bob from Channel 8 all the time.
Reporting live from Spirit Squad Worldwide. Bob from Channel 8. Bob.
Here for a special announcement. A user is someone who is also considered to be a beggar in the Old Testament of the Bible. Reporting live, Bob from Channel 8.
Reporting live from Spirit Squad Worldwide. Bob from Channel 8. Bob.
That is correct. I've spoken about users before here on this page, and I just had an epiphany about them, and I kind of wanted to run it by you while also braiding into this word, the dance of money. I have realized that users have a gaydar. Go with me here. Okay? Gay people can detect gay on folk just like a user can detect a heavenly virtue of generosity on someone. It's almost as if they have a gift of seeing their need be supplied, whether it's money, a place to stay, whether it is you do possess the heavenly virtue of generosity and your willingness to see other people do well, that they can just have you as silly putty in their hands whenever they want to. You know what I'm saying? They have an innate ability to detect that on people, and they also have an innate ability to detect naivety and insecurity when it comes to being able to be manipulated into your generosity. Inversely, if you are anything like me, who has been used for places to stay, opportunities, clout, money, sex, getting you out of jail, goddammit, okay, groceries, pet care, doing your hair, I mean, my generosity really and truly knows no bounds. It really doesn't. And banking off of what we talked about yesterday, properly vetting people we let into our orbit, people who operate in that heavenly virtue, which is probably most of you because you wouldn't watch me if you wasn't. Okay? We do not typically have discernment the same way they do to seek us out when it comes to inviting them in to our orbit. Well, why is that, Bootz? It can be trauma-based, based upon the connections you had or did not have in your youth that gives you a sense of trust or naivety when it comes to, oh my God, they say I'm pretty, so I don't mind paying for their dinner. Their dinner turns into you buying a restaurant for them, putting it in their name, and them not even giving you a percentage on what that restaurant is earning. And then you sit back and think, how the fuck did I get to this point? It is because the detection don't go off until you get hurt. And that's typically not in the beginning of the relationship. And if that happens to you, and if you're anything like me, if I get hurt, I'm competitive. I want to make this work. So guess what happens? That heavenly virtue reactivates, and I start giving more. Those of us who are typically the givers, we've given when we don't have, but if you look around, black sheep, you'll realize that you're more prosperous than the people who you grew up with. It is because we don't look at money the same way human beings do. What do you mean, Bootz? Most people look at money like it's an object to be had. We look at money like a dance. Sometimes you dip. Other times you get raised up. Sometimes ain't nobody in the audience. Sometimes the lights are off and you're still doing this dance with prosperity that has its ebbs and flows. You learn to tango. You learn as you go along. Most people are like, okay, I got this. Give me this. Okay, this is my X, Y, and Z. This is me putting into words why you are able to be generous, because we don't look at money as an object to have and lose. It is an energy that we can call upon when necessary. It is a dance we do, harder or softer, based upon our first human experience and two, our divinity with the prosperous spirit. Okay? I want you to understand that, because if you can have a fundamental understanding of that, we can get to the problem as to why you're able to let these asteroids into your planetary orbit and use your gravitational pull. We are the ones that look at legacy, not what can you get me. Which is why we need discernment too. I've attracted staff who've used me. I've attracted friends, men. I know that I have an issue with leading with my prosperity because I'm still working on feeling attractive. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on that. I'm working on that. So those insecurities, they can smell that. They can smell your desire to be loved. They can smell that you have a place for them to stay, even though they haven't called to check on you in the past 10 years. They come with flowers. They plant in your garden and reap your harvest. All of this could be prevented if first you recognize how special having that gift is. And I'm not talking about the discerning gift of them being able to identify what can be used, but the gift, the virtue of being able to be selfless in a world that is selfish. They're going to multiply. It's going to be a lot more of those roaches. That's what I'm calling them. I used to, when I first started YouTube, I used this word roaches scallops. That's exactly what they are. They're looking. They don't care what they eat. But if you got something for them, they can smell it. So we also got to have safeguards up. That don't mean we be cruel. That don't mean we be rude. And if it makes you uncomfortable, you can always say, let me think about it. Let me write it down. Let me talk to my spiritual advisor, i.e. me, before I actually tell you I can do this. Because I distinctly remember, this person is famous now too. Sleeping on the floor of my apartment. We just asked him to wash the dishes. He said no, and he still had a place to stay for 3 months. And I got outvoted, like Kamala Harris did not. How can I accept that? I mean, so I've been doing the work, people. I've been doing the work. And I know that was a bit lyrical and long-winded, but I hope you guys followed that. It's like you have to properly vet everyone, because roaches can look like butterflies. But that caterpillar is avoiding the cocoon by any means necessary. And as we re-emerge from ours, they can't reap the process of what we've gone through. And I'm not saying be selfish, you know. But you need limits. And you also need safeguards to where you're not attracting asteroids, but other suns like you burn.